Here's hoping it works. I've only ever tried this either by myself or with 4 people, and it definitely does not work well with 4 people. So,
so you're a loner? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's my Twitter handle for?
iChris Loner. That's why it's iChris. It's like singular for iChris. I'm a loner.
Yeah.
You've been saying all along this whole entire time. Evidence is in front of us.
Okay, turn off that. Start to loop back on itself. What's the Joshua Tree hashtag again? U2. The longest
Only
possible.
the goodies. We spend them.
U2.
The 1980s. Well, the 1980s
Tree
radio station.
Tour 2017.
Playing the greatest from 1987.
With Teleject and iChris. Tweet.
I should probably go.
Hide the preview.
Go to U2.com.
Goodstuff.fm.
Read the story. Ugh.
All right, I think my audio is in sync.
Okay.
Do the old clap test one more time. Just checking the video. Yeah, it might be slightly off, but close enough for what we're doing for this professional enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
Sort of a musical journey, really.
'Tis.
Yes. All right. Why U2's Joshua Tree is overrated. Phoenix New. This is next half hour I'll be talking about.
Somebody, what?
Someone wrote this, like U2 is overrated. Jason Keel of Phoenix, New York New Times.
Of course they did. Do you have can you do your Skype call recorder thing just as a backup?
Yeah, sure.
Just hit recorder. You don't have to do video, just audio, but.
All right. I'm not sure what it does, actually. I'll just hit it. I'm not sure I set to audio or video. The fact that U2 continues to retreat to their most popular but overrated piece of art to diminishing returns only proves the amount of faint praise is heaped upon Joshua Tree. I don't think sure that's how it works, but okay. But I say, in other words, it's a gravy train. Choo-choo. Yeah.
Larry's more than happy to go back to mine that gold.
Yeah, I know. It's like if you got like a winning ticket, you just then it never. I mean, I guess a better metaphor would be like if you got the goose that lays the golden egg, man, you might as well just do not cook that goose.
Or keep cooking it, I guess. Whichever metaphor.
Yeah, you don't want to cook the goose. You want to keep on making sure it lays.
Yeah.
Sweet gold records, which would be kind of hard to lay.
One pants at a time. One pant leg.
Yeah.
The geese were happy about digital production, I guess, is what you're saying.
It's like now I just paint them gold on Photoshop. I don't know. I'm not sure. The metaphor kind of breaks down.
Yeah.
It always broke down when they learned it Photoshop. That's what happens.
Okay, let's start this thing. I don't know if anybody's going to watch or not, but we will start either way. I don't think I need to make. Can you just say something really emphatic and like you're excited about it?
The real Joshua Tree in the Joshua Tree album cover is dead.
you go.
Oh, sorry. It's emphatic.
It's a terrible way to start, but
Oh
whatever.
yeah, sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna play some
Someone-
music and then we'll start this. I'll do a little intro thingy and we'll get
Okay.
going. As long as everything's working, there is so people potentially could be seeing you, but they
Okay.
might not.
Okay, that's cool.
Just so you know, if you pick your nose or take off your shirt or whatever.
Only one of those things is likely to happen.
Hello, welcome to Daily-ish for Tuesday, January 17th. This is episode number 195, closing on the old 200s. It's currently 0 degrees. Feels like 1 or 2, I think, outside. It's very nice, but this is not a weather podcast.
It's not. I gotta change podcast. Sorry, I'll be back. Right back.
It is brought to you by FeedPress. You can visit feed.press/dailish today to sign up and try out FeedPress for all your podcast hosting, RSS analytics needs. Bloggers and podcasters can tap into RSS subscriber geolocation, podcast download, and link tracking metrics, which come standard on all plans. You can actually use FeedPress from start to finish for your whole podcasting platform if you want to. Feeds and publishing it right into iTunes, and MP3 is stored for you. 400 megabytes of file storage that's unmetered, so you don't have to worry about running out of storage for long episodes or getting dinged for a sudden spike in traffic downloads when your podcast gets huge because U2 retweets it or something. So yeah, my thanks to FeedPress. Try them out. Feed.press/dailyish. You can use promo code dailyish during checkout to get 10% off your first year. And it's also possibly brought to you by, well, it is partially brought to you by Patreon supporters. Patreon.com/iChris are a group of my favorite people in the world because they pay me to say that, literally. And you can check out how you can be a supporter at patreon.com/iChris as well and join this group of awesomest people in the world. I'm joined this episode, I'm going to start building up a stable of correspondents, I think, because Christopher is my, the U2/CSS 2.0 correspondent, maybe?
I guess 3, 4.0, whichever. Yeah,
Whatever we're at.
whatever.
That's right, you're the correspondent. I'm just the dummy who asks the questions. You tell me, well, actually, it's 3.0 now, and we're working on HTML5.
Right. Or
Something like
HTML5 or laying the groundwork for HTML6. No, just not working. Not really. But no. But yeah.
Let's start that
Cool.
argument here.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on the show.
Yeah, so with the main reason, the U2 side of the discussion is what Chris, eventually I have like little Daily Show name plates or whatever at the bottom, so I can insult you with some sort of correspondent title that pokes fun at something. But anyways, U2,
like Chris from Canada, like that.
yeah, exactly. You're a fellow U2 fan. When did you fall in love with U2? When was your
Probably the Rattle and Hum. I was a little too late for Joshua Tree, but Rattle and Hum, and then quickly devoured Joshua Tree, and then went down all their albums since then, and then Rattle and Hum was out for a while, and so that meant I think for a year or two. Then when Octoon Baby came out, I just immediately bought that. I went to what's called a record store at a mall, and
Crazy.
I bought a very expensive CD. A CD, for those who aren't listening, is like a CD-ROM. But it plays music and like a compact disc player. And so, if anyone knows what that looks like, but yeah, and I just fell in love with that CD because I was a teenager. It just hit me, all the moody stuff like really hits a teenager pretty well. So, but yeah, so that was a great, and I've been hooked ever since. So how about you?
So, well, I was, similar time period too of Joshua Tree, Friends being in a Rattle and Hum Joshua Tree era, and then Octoon Baby was kind of like where I heard a bit about it and was like, again, listening to it some more, but still wasn't my band until I saw the Zoo TV tour video. I didn't actually see the Zoo TV tour. And then from then on was buying everything as it came out, or waited for them to just drop it into my MP3 folder as they do now. I suspect that's what's going to happen from now on. So
yeah, I was so bummed because I was actually hours away from Lakeland, Florida on February 29th when they started the TV tour.
Right.
But I'd never had been to a concert before then, and I didn't know when it was going or how to go to get ticket, like whatever that meant, So
yeah,
it wasn't until just so naive. It wasn't until later that I realized oh man, I just missed that.
That was like the opening. Yeah, that would have been pretty sweet.
That was Yeah, it's pretty great. It's a pretty good concert.
So, but by way of going back to that now, U2, if you're not aware and you haven't listened to any of my podcasts or followed me on Twitter, they have just announced they're going back to mine that period of before Rattle and Hum, the Joshua Tree era. 30 years ago this year is when that came out, and they are putting on a tour called the Joshua Tree Tour 2017, and made reference to the fact that they'll play every song from that album in some form, and we'll be touring for a very limited run in North America and in Europe, much to the frustration of friends, U2 fans down in South America and Australia and New Zealand and anywhere else in the world, basically. And so Bono has, of course, done his usual job of hinting at things that might happen and teasing things that probably won't happen. And stringing people up. But anyways, so the tour.
But it's like I'm like, you probably know more about me, but I will say, like, he came out to manage expectations a lot, because it's been rumored, because we're in the middle of waiting for the quote double album, if you will, sort of double album of Songs of Innocence, and then we're waiting for the album of Songs of Experience to drop.
Yeah.
And they actually pushed back Songs of Experience album, which was supposed to happen, rumored, always rumors, like, oh, end of 2016.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we'll wait till next year. And then now it's gonna happen like maybe late 2017, if not 2018.
Yeah, like how they say it's pushed back as if it was done, but they're just which sounds like someone who's late for their homework and they're like, it's finished, it's finished. It's just I want to polish it and make it a little better, so can I have an extension?
Right. It's like, hey, I'm not sure if the kids will like this new stuff, but I know they dig the 30-year-old stuff. Let me just break out that one and we'll tour with that one, because we have tour dates that we are agreed to play. So let's just do that.
Yeah, it's interesting. And it's like who knows how much of all that is going on. There's all the politics of, well, there's politics, but then there's also the business of running a band and a management company, and Live Nation, the touring company. And I found out that it's like
community, right?
Yeah. And so because the Live Nation itself, the company that puts on the tours is based in Canada. That's why the tour is happening starting in Canada, because then tax-wise they get to somehow base it in Canadian taxes instead of the U.S. or something like that. So it starts in Vancouver, which is where I'm going to see them, and then it goes down through North America and then over to Europe to close out. And they're only actually doing one show in Ireland, like one show in Dublin, no second show. There's all sorts of reasons there. There's Croke Park is the big stadium that they would play in, and apparently it can only handle X number of acts per year, and there's already been a couple, and Ed Sheeran and someone else might be taking the other slots. So they
but like it's all the Irish people just get together and start like voting to, like, change laws and pass that. You saw that with Slane, with all you can't leave behind. They asked it for extra day, or that should be played there. They got the the pass to play at Slane Castle, so it's it could be totally doable, and ending or having, and like giving enough time for people to get a nice little fervor, if you will. I think it's U2 is their main export, right? Like there's nothing else that people would go to Ireland for. Right? Just joking. But I mean, they're the biggest band in the world, and their home country is Ireland. Like I expect that they'll have at least one extra date.
Yeah, well, the idea too is they want to save whatever dates or enthusiasm maybe for when they do tour around Songs of Experience, hopefully later this year or whatever, but we'll see. It's interesting because I was doing some research for on the @U2 podcast. We're doing an album by album series, and the next album we're doing is No Line on the Horizon, and reading back through the archives of like the stuff that it's going to come out, and then it's going to be this, and then like a month later it's like no, it's actually going to be this, and then like the months of delayed and changes expectations and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's U2, that's who we're dealing with here. Especially Bono is like prone to hyperbole and saying things like Edge is on fire and he's metal and he's crazy and nothing you've ever seen before.
The cliche is that every new album that's rumored to drop next is a rock and roll album.
Yeah.
It's like, this is going to be rock and roll. And then like All You Can't Leave Behind drops. I'm like, okay, well, sure.
We just actually did How to Dismantle Atomic Bomb, which actually is a pretty rock record. And so if you're listening to this by way of some sort of U2 connection, goodstuff.fm/ATU2 is where you can find that podcast. And it's all U2, which this episode is, but not all the time. So
collect every episode.
sort of a musical journey, really.
So, what do you think the are you going to see the show, the Joshua Tree
No,
2017?
this morning I punched in for my venue that I would go to, and I know I just couldn't see myself punching in it because it's a 3-hour drive
Right.
one way to see the venue, and then I have to drive back that night. I just like, no, do I want to drive to see a Joshua Tree concert and have people tell me how bad America is, and after I just went through 2 years of presidential election, and I'm like, I'm kind of just done, So, if and also I might change my mind if I'm a graphic designer, visual designer, and so I'm a visual learner, and if the what they do on stage is they're pretty much keep a lot of things secret, before you don't know what's going to happen until they actually do their first concert. So if it's actually just a visual masterpiece like the Songs of Experience tour was, I'll probably just go see that and
Yeah,
see
the
that tour.
Innocence and Experience tour. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
I know because
but
the seating chart or whatever on ticket venues is or Ticketmaster is looks like there's a kind of a mini Joshua Tree thing that staged like a B stage that comes out into the
yeah,
crowd. But other
mhm,
than that, it looks fairly bare, and obviously there's
yeah,
no claw or anything massive that's going to take up the.
right.
So it'll be
Yeah, I was like, "Where's
yeah.
the claw, man? Yeah, and yeah, so they're not really. I mean, one thing I loved about the claw was like one, it was like visually arresting, but also it just made great business sense because they could sell every seat in the house, like wherever they went, and so it became like one of the most profitable tours ever because they could sell every seat in there. They couldn't just like usually because they block off. If you have just a wall TVs or a backdrop, there's some seats on one end of an arena that's gonna be blocked off. But with the claw, it's all or 360-degree tour. It was you sell your seats,
Yeah.
but it looks like they're back to
Str-
blocking off seats at one end. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it looks like a normal like almost like I guess like Pop Mart type tour like approach. We just have a big wall and even the I think All You Can Leave Behind was a little bit more. They had that heart shape kind of B stage type of thing going on. I thought that was pretty cool. So
Yeah, where
I don't
there's like an internal thing you can get into, and same thing on the Vertigo tour where they had a circle or
know.
whatever going out. The yeah, so you're actually not. I guess you can always find tickets later if you really wanted to go. Hopefully, maybe
Yeah,
it's a pretty limited
maybe.
run though. But
Yeah, it's a pretty limited run, but I look forward to buying the Blu-ray when it comes out for Christmas, so I could help my Irish band
yeah, because you saw them on
get through the
Innocence and
winter nights.
Experience, right?
Hmm?
Did you see
No,
or you
no,
didn't
I
too?
didn't. I
Oh,
did buy the Blu-ray for that one,
I don't know
but
what your U2 fan card. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I keep on buying music though. I don't know what's going on. And all the B-sides and all that stuff.
I guess either way, Larry's happy because you're giving some money to the machine.
Yeah.
Did you buy a T-shirt?
To Songs Experience? No, I didn't buy a T-shirt. I
No.
bought the vinyl. Was that crazy
Oh,
enough?
well, there you go.
Yeah, I
Edge is
bought the vinyl.
happy.
I bought the record store day vinyl. I think that gives me enough cred.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right there. So I bought the cool. I thought that was kind of cool, like because you remember the cover when they dropped the album was like this kind of like scribble on the white sheet of a record, and they like they dropped it when they dropped it with Apple, and so they actually released kind of album cover with that on it. I thought that was kind of cool, like, kind of like deconstructing what an album cover should be,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So anyway, I think it's really boring.
But anyway, so
But yeah,
this tour, it doesn't excite you to go even as moderate, and even coming from somebody who started U2 sort of
mhm.
right around this period.
Well, I enjoyed Round the Hum
Right.
a lot more because I think it is because of the live component of it, and I like the recordings of that. I don't. I love the new stuff. I love more into the Passengers, Unforgettable Fire, more into Zeropa, that kind of the weird stuff. I guess is
Yeah.
more so that. So their mainstream stuff is not like I know I'm like 1% of the population, of the fans when it comes to that, but that's like the stuff I like, and so just seeing them play Joshua Tree, I will say they did promise they would play the Joshua Tree album, and so that means I'm gonna ask you this if you ever heard this, but when I heard that, I was like, they're gonna play Exit because they've sworn off playing Exit, which is a great song off the album. It's like I think it's the second to last song before Mothers Have Disappeared, and so,
Yeah.
but they had a big court case where someone like sued, like someone sued U2 or they didn't sue U2, but they were brought in the fact that someone committed murder because of Exit had Exit on loop on his, I think,
Yeah.
Walkman at the time, set player, and so he kept on hearing it over and over again, and so it a song that was, and so Boss was like, it's a really powerful song. I don't really want to play it anymore live, and so it's very little play since that that court case. So I'd be interested if he actually plays it, and if he does play it, that will, because it's one of the best songs off of Album Hum, the movie, and it's just it's just so powerful. It is a powerful song, and I would love to hear it live. So so they start playing that, I might see it, but.
Well, I think they will. Like, I really do think they'll play the entire album. They basically said as much, and I mean, I guess they reserve the right, obviously, to not. But when you're marketing it as the Joshua Tree tour, it's almost like you kind of have to follow through on that. But
Joshua, like, Exit isn't like it wasn't even a single. It wasn't even a B-side, so they can't really they can just say, well, we played all the singles, so
oh right, yeah, I guess. The other thing that's sort of been interesting fan debating is like whether they would actually start with Streets, like if they do it track by track according to the album, which would start with Where the Streets Have No Name, which is now in U2 concerts, if you have never been, is kind of like almost the zenith or whatever of excitement is in the show, anyways, sort of like the third act or whatever, somewhere in there, or the end of the second act sometimes. And so to start the show feels really weird, actually, for at least longtime U2 concert fan goers. And so it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see. They just actually tweeted out this today. The U2 account did just that intro of Where the Streets Have No Name, which could go back to being the intro song or whatever, which would be kind of a fun one to just open up with, and it has a big, huge, minute-long anthem kind of intro. And so it could definitely work, but yeah. So you had mentioned, just without getting political, just the idea of, like, obviously with what U2 did at the Dreamforce concert, a bit of an anti-Trump, anti-America, or not anti-America, but like, hey America, get your crap together kind of thing. That sort of a bit of like knocking on America on the political side isn't as interesting, which they've kind of alluded to the reason why, besides not finishing their homework, maybe the reason they're going back to this too is because it kind of feels like 30 years later now America's back in turmoil or whatever, just like it was 30 years ago, is kind of what they're alluding to, and why it's attractive to go bring the Joshua Tree back out on tour or something. But
welcome to America, we're on turmoil. But yeah, why don't you come over here to America, make some cash, tell us how stupid we are, and then go back home. That's very good. No, but I felt like it's kind of like I said earlier, just we just lived through 2 years of election nonsense where the press got the election wrong a month leading up to the election day. We all got this fallout. What's going on for the country? And so I was just like, we need to hear Joshua Tree because of Trump. And I'm like, and like, so I was like, I really just listen to the new stuff. So is new album any good? Because if it's good, we could just go listen to that. We don't have to listen. I already got the Joshua Tree. I'm down. And but yeah, so my thing is like, I don't have it done, or is it, if it is done, is it any good? That's like, like, why would you hold something good if it's not? But Joshua Tree, like we said before, it's probably it's gold. They just want to mine that for all it's worth. And so but that, and also I just feel like the other thing is like, I don't want to get too political here, but
this is not a political podcast.
It is not like a podcast. But it's like how do you feel like if REM went to Ireland and had an Irish jig about the unification of Northern Ireland and the Ireland Republic? I just that's kind of weird. I don't know, but I would love to see that. But
yeah,
I don't know if Michael.
I guess in like as the token Canadian in this conversation, America has no problem as a country doing that elsewhere, whether they're politically invited or not. And so I guess an artistic band to say, and I think I get the impression, anyways, we'll see. I think the Dreamforce thing was a bit was intentionally over the top because it was before the election, and like, hey, whereas I feel like they definitely said like Joshua Tree was about rising above all that. And so I don't think there'll be petty cheap shot stuff necessarily, whether you think of the Dreamforce one as cheap shot or not. But I mean, it was definitely like full on.
I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it because it was probably the best production value and production performance, if that's such a term. You let me use that term. Of I've seen U2 do, because they've had like video recordings of people people singing songs like from NASA, pre-recorded, filmed in, and they would
Yeah,
film
like
along
Lou
with the
Reed.
song.
Yeah.
But that was actually Bono like interacting with multiple video stills from Donald Trump and going back and forth, and
Yeah.
it looked beautiful. It was really great video production and art quality. They've always had a really good touchstone with the video artists that they've used. There's been great visuals. I thought it was just a fantastic visual performance, and great thing. And so, and to me, I would totally use that again if I was U2, because they paid a lot of money for it. So I would I do not begrudge them saying, like, we paid a lot of money for this thing. Why don't we want to just like flush it out a bit more and do a whole album?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I think this has gone way longer than a normal Dailyish has, which is fair and fine. It's my show. I can do what I want. But where can folks argue with you if they want to on the internet?
Oh, no. How are you? Oh, I do want to say one more thing is
Okay.
that U2, I don't mind U2 getting back to its roots, but they also want to make fans go back in time with them. So that's why fans attending events aren't allowed to bring their own iPhones or any other smartphones with them, because they weren't invented until the 1990s. Also, you can bring CDs of the Joshua Tree album to be signed. You can't bring any, so that's pretty cool. But only CDs, and you get CDs from Amazon.com, because again, that wasn't built
Right.
around that time. So you can only get CDs from a Tower Music store or a Virgin Megastore. So
Good luck with that.
And good luck with that, because the only Virgin Megastore is still around, but they're in Egypt, Jordan, Kuwait, Qatar, and
so do we have to
no,
also wear
mm,
black sweatpants and
mhm.
vest jackets with no shirt underneath?
Yeah, and
is that what
I mean,
Edge is
they'll
going
also
to be?
allow you hypercolor T-shirts if you want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's pretty great. So, but it should be pretty good. It should be pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking for like the concert. I'm looking forward to for sure, just because it'll be a good experience one way or another. I know, but definitely the video that comes out afterwards, where you actually get to just sort of like really take in the show without some drunk guy breathing down your neck. Unless I invite him over to watch it, I guess. But
well, this is my tip. If you are tall enough,
yeah,
so it's my tall. I when I go to a concert, for U2 concerts or any concerts really, I go to the audio mix station, where the production console, and just stay there, and because part of it, and I'm a production guy too, so I just enjoy watching them produce a show, and usually, you get a good view of how they put the show together, and what's going on, and usually no one really cares to be that far back, on the ground on the general admissions floor, so that's where I enjoy watching it, and sometimes there's VIPs who go there too, so you never know if you see someone famous, because that's where I met Paul McGuinness. Was that he was out there watching the show as it gets started, and I had him sign my U2 ticket.
Nice.
Right there. So
you were standing in front of him, and he was like, "Get down, down in front." That's my terrible Scottish Irish.
He was actually upset with me because I wanted him to sign my ticket, because I'm not a member of the band. Like, I know, because but you're 1/5 of the member, and you're a very rich man. So,
you're a very rich man.
You're a very rich man, sir, and you know how to produce and manage a band. So pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty famous, anyways, infamous. So.
Yeah.
All right, so you're at Teleject on Twitter. I'm iChris on Twitter, and this has been Dailyish on Goodstuff.fm. Thank you for watching, if you did, and listening. We tried streaming it on Twitch. I think it worked. We'll find out later. And come back next time. Record a podcast, I guess. Adios. Thanks for listening. Bye. All right.
How was that?
I think that was good.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, I thought I dropped you there. Cool.
I always forget to put I don't know if I can do a marker with audio hijack. That's what I was using. So it says we were recording for 35 minutes, but I don't think that was actually, I started.
I think it's 25 minutes is what I got.
Yeah.
And
which is all good.
10 minutes. Trying to get the microphone to work. Cool. So is that okay?
Yeah. They got, Tasula in the chat room. She commented saying, most of U2's members live here a good part of the year. This American is okay with the political commentary. Which is definitely fair.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That's
I was actually just kind of just joking. So cool.
all right. I am
Yeah.
going to see what happened with the audio here and
Mm-hmm.
cut off the live stream. Thanks for watching, listening, whoever happened to be out there, if it worked.